Hey everyone, time for another Pathfinder adventure scenario. We are on scenario 2.1, starting off in the Scorched Ruins. Advancing the Blessings deck. The first card here, okay, is the Henchman. So, Orkmachus, Combat 21. I didn't examine this card. All damage is dealt by poison damage. Before you act, you are dealt 1d4 poison damage. Fun. Okay, wow. So I take 3 points of poison damage. Looking at my hand, I don't have anything that will stop that. So I have to take 3 points of poison damage, and then I have the check to defeat 21. So I gotta lose half of my hand size here. Not too bad. I'm going to go ahead and I'm gonna lose Idori. I'm gonna lose a blessing of Ra, or a blessing of Abdar, and I'm gonna lose a blessing of the elements. That's gonna leave me with 3 cards in my hand. So I have the Immolate spell, which is D10. I have a blessing of Ra, which is gonna add another D10. The Immolate spell also allows me to have 2d4. And then I'm going to use Ahmotep's special power to recharge a staff to add 1d8 to my combat check. Alright, and out of all this, I'm going to be able to add +2 for my divine skill. Alright, so looking pretty good. Let's see what happens. So I got a 5 here, and 8, and 7 is 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So wow, that used up all of my spells. So, but it was my arcane is +2. So final calculation here: 8, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, 18, and then 19, 20. And okay, wow, that's it. So failed the check by 1 point. So that means that, okay, I am going to then roll to see if I get my Immolate spell, if I recharge it. So I didn't recharge my Immolate spell. It goes into the discard pile. It says here, so I did take a point of damage. So that's poison damage, and there's no after you act effect. So, looking through the cards here, Ahmotep now has a Curse of Poisoning. Orkmachus gets shuffled back into the deck. So doing some random shuffles here, and like as I usually do, I will go ahead and roll a die to randomly determine which card's on top. Okay, resetting my hand. So, okay, pretty challenging. I'm always glad when there's a challenge. Okay, so just missed by that 1. Didn't have anything to re-roll dice. Okay, I got a full hand of 6 cards. Due to poisoning, I'm rolling to see which card that I have to recharge. So I have to recharge an Acid Splash spell. Kind of a bummer. Advancing the Blessings deck, and we get a blowgun. Okay, Dexterity, Ranged Knowledge. Don't really have any of that. I got a Dexterity, so my Dexterity is D6 plus 1. Okay, so I acquired the blowgun. Not bad. I have 6 cards. I don't have anything in my hand that's going to allow me to explore again, but I do have the Scarab Buckler, which I'm going to use. D4, so I rolled a 2. So due to the Scarab Buckler, which I'm using right now, I get to add or get 3 cards from my discard pile. 3 cards from my discard pile back into my deck. So we'll just do these 3 random ones here. So I get Idori, Blessing of the Elements, and Blessing of Abdar back into my deck. Not bad. I was really hoping to get that Immolate spell back. So I did that. Let's see. What do I want to do here now? I have to bury the Scarab Buckler since I just used its effects. And let's see. I guess that's it. I'll reset my hand. I'm going to discard the blowgun. Don't think I'm going to need it. Drawing 2 new cards. I get Acid Splash, and I get the Black Kiss. Alright, rolling to see which card I have to recharge due to poisoning. I have to recharge the Anubis staff. Alright, and now advancing the blessings deck. Let's see what we got. Okay, so there's a shield cloak. That's pretty cool. I can see Ahmotep using a shield cloak. Intelligence 8. Alright, let's try it. Rolling a d10. Alright, so I rolled a 6. So I could recharge a card to add +2 to that result. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to recharge a tough call. I'm going to recharge the Explorer's staff. No, the Twin Serpent staff. Actually, it's a quarter staff. It's so I can acquire this card. Okay, so now I am resetting my hand. I can actually use the Black Kiss to explore my location. I think I'm going to do that. Discarding this character, exploring the location. Don't have to advance the blessings deck then. Okay, we get the corrosion spell. Intelligence, Arcane, Wisdom, Divine. Okay, my intelligence, well, actually my arcane is intelligence +2, d10 +2. Okay, I don't get the corrosion spell. Not a big loss. It gets banished. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and reset my hand. Get Idori and a Blessing of Ra. Rolling to see which card I have to recharge due to poisoning. So I rolled a 5 there. Okay, so man, Acid Splash gets recharged. That really sucks. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to then advance the Blessings deck and see what we got. Hey, our friend the Toxic Geyser. So difficulty is increased by twice this scenario's adventure deck number. This is scenario 2. So there we go. It's going to take a total of 9 in order to defeat this barrier. So let's see. Dexterity, Acrobatics. I have a Wings of Horus, and I have a Blessing of Ra, and I have an Explorer's Staff, which will help me with the disable, but there is no disable here. Okay, so I'm going to use Wings of Horus. This is a Dexterity check, which is just d6. I'm going to be using the Explorer's Staff. I'm sorry. d6 for Dexterity. Wings of Horus, recharging that for d6. Blessing of Ra, discarding that. For actually, it has the fire. So Blessing of Ra says I can discard this card to add 2 dice to any check that invokes the fire trait. So I'm going to keep the Wings of Horus. I'm just going to use the Blessing of Ra. It's going to give me 3d6 after roll a 9. And I have a Dexterity of +1. So I rolled 4, 8, 9 plus 10. Beats that. Okay, cool. But it says here, after defeating a non-villain, non-henchman monster. Okay, so this isn't a monster, it's a barrier. Okay, so I don't have to worry about shuffling it. There aren't any other open locations anyway. So I'm resetting my hand. Now I'm rolling to see what poisoning is taken away. Poisoning is taking away the Wings of Horus. Ouch. I wanted to keep that card. Advancing the Blessings deck. And, okay, he's back. Orc Makis. Didn't defeat him the first time. Or did we? Is this our 3rd time facing him? I forget. I think it's our 2nd time. Okay. So we have, the first thing he's going to do is do d4 poison damage to me. So 2 points of poison damage. So I'm going to choose, I don't have any spells in my hand. I'm going to lose, well actually, you know what? It says here, so I got the Shield Cloak, which says recharge this card to reduce all damage dealt to you by 3. Okay, that's pretty cool. I'll go ahead and just recharge this Shield Cloak so I don't have to take the 2 points of poison damage. So now in my hand I have the Explorer's Staff, the Frost Staff, Blessing of Abdar, and Idori. Idori says recharge this card to add 1d4 to a combat check. So I'm going to use her. She's going to get recharged. Then I have a Frost Staff. I'm going to be using Ahmotep's special power to recharge the Frost Staff. So I can add +d8 to my check. I have the Explorer's Staff, which says for your combat check, reveal this card to use your strength, which is d8, plus a d6, plus I can discard this card, which I will, for another d6. Da, 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 da. And then I'm using a Blessing of Abdar. Blessing of Abdar says I can. Blessing of Abdar says I can go ahead and just add one die to my check. And this is a strength melee check. So I'm going to add another d8. Okay, wow. All these dice. Alright. And I'm adding +2 to my check since it's a melee check. Alright, so I got an 8, 9, 10, 14, 18, 22, 23. Okay, so we defeated Orkmakis. Pretty awesome. It says, if defeated, you may immediately attempt to close the location. Okay, so I have to summon and acquire a weapon. So, grabbing the weapons stack here, I'm going to roll a d30, see which weapon I'm getting. So, 3, third one. Okay, so I have to acquire this weapon. Dexterity ranged. Well, I'm not going to do it, because my dexterity is only d6 plus 1. Okay, so, failed that. According to my rules, I have to play all the way through and close a location in order to win this scenario. So I'm going to draw 6 cards, and what I'm going to do is I have to roll d6 for poisoning. I lose or get the Anubis staff gets recharged. Ahmotep's deck. Let's try that again. Ahmotep's deck is getting thin. Okay, I get the Ubashi Swarm. So in my hand I have the Twin Serpent Quarterstaff. So it says here, basically I can do melee plus 1d6 plus 2. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to, just for fun, I'll use a Blessing of the Elements, just so I can roll 2d8. First check. Yeah, and I defeated it by 4 there, or by 2. That's what that card says. For my next check, I'm going to just use the Serpent Staff, Twin Serpent Quarterstaff, and I'm going to recharge a Flame Staff so I can add a d8 to my check. Alright, so I get all these. 4, 8, 9, 10. I defeat it by 2. I also add my melee, which is +2. So I don't have to do this if you do not exceed the difficulty of each check by 2 effect. Okay, I'm going to reset my hand. Get the Wings of Horus back, a few other things. Rolling for the poisoning effect, I have to recharge my Acid Splash spell. Wow, I guess if you're sick with poisoning, you can't cast a Acid Splash. Advancing the Blessings deck. Let's see what we get. Okay, we get the Evil Eye. Stealth Knowledge, so I got Arcane. Okay, so I have Arcane, don't have any blessings. It's just going to be a straight up Arcane check. So it's, oh wow, difficulty is to defeat is increased by twice. The scenarios, wow, so actually I have to roll a 10 or higher. Alright, let's see what happens. So I rolled a 3, so that's nowhere near a 10. Can't really do anything, so I have to suffer a Scourge. So for scenario 2, the Scourge die is a d6. Alright, let me go ahead and see what kind of Scourge I get. So I rolled a 2 on the Scourge table. I believe that's the Scourge of... okay, so it's just a Curse of Poisoning. Okay, so yeah, I have the Curse of Poisoning. So this Evil Eye didn't really do anything. So I get to banish that card. Looking at my hand, I don't have any extra ways to explore, which is going to be a problem because I'm running out of cards. There's 3 cards in the Blessings deck and there's 3 encounter cards. Okay, I guess I'm going to do it. I'm just going to reset my hand, rolling for poisoning. Poisoning says I lose my Twin Serpent Quarterstaff. Ahmotep is getting weaker and weaker with the poisoning. She can't even hold her own staff. It's tragic. I advance the Blessings deck and here we go. Constitution. Nothing. Constitution is d6. Wisdom is a d6. Well, if I roll a 6, I can use Ahmotep's special power. I rolled a 1. Okay, so nothing there. And so that gets banished. Advancing the... Actually, resetting my hand, rolling for poisoning. 5, Frost Staff gets recharged. Okay, and now I will advance the Blessings deck, see what we got. We got the Wall of Scythes. So, okay, pretty basic trap here. So, let's see what I got in my hand. I got the Wings of Horus, so Dexterity. I'll go ahead and use the Wings of Horus, recharging that. I get to do 2d6 with my Dexterity. Ahmotep, I gave her a skill feat of Dexterity +1. So, I rolled a 7. I only needed a 4. Sweet. That barrier is banished. And that's only for monsters that have a fire trait. Okay, let's go ahead. So resetting the hand here. Let's see, resetting the hand. I guess I probably should have, you know what? Before I reset the hand, there's only one card left, and I have to acquire a weapon. I really want some blessings. I mean, how many blessings do I have here? Nope, I don't have any blessings available. It's not going to matter. Okay, rolling for poisoning. I rolled a 4, so Unshakable Chill gets recharged. Advancing the last card in the Blessings deck, which is a Blessing of the Ancients. Okay, now we get a Shock Toad. Okay, so Shock Toad is, before you act, it deals 1 electricity damage. I have the Shield Cloak, so I'll go ahead and just recharge the card. For the Shock Toad, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Adori to recharge her, so I can add a 1d4 to my check. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to recharge a Flame Staff, so I can add 1d8 to my check. Then I'm just going to do a straight, well, I got an Acid Splash spell, so I might as well do that. So Arcane Divine plus 1d6. And, okay, we'll just roll all these dice. I think I'll be fine. So 7, 1 die gets stuck in there. Yeah, 1 die got stuck in the dice tower. Okay, so 7, 14, yeah, more than enough. The Shock Toad is defeated, gets banished. There's no more cards in the Blessings deck. There's no more cards in the Location deck. I can do the When Closing effect, which is summon and acquire a weapon. So all I need to do to win this scenario is to summon and acquire a weapon. Rolling a d30 to see which weapon I get. I get weapon number, wow, weapon number 1? I guess so. Alright. Alright, it's a Corrosive Dagger. Dexterity range 7. Wow. So, I could roll right now to see if I recharge my Acid Splash spell. Die lands on the floor. Don't really need to do, but I'm kind of a perfectionist. Rolled an 8. So there we go. Acid Splash gets recharged in my deck. So now, what we're going to do is I have to acquire this Corrosive Dagger. The only thing I have in my hand is an Anubis Staff. So fortunately I have that card, which would allow me to recharge a card to add +2 to the result. And I have Dexterity +1. Let's see what I roll. And that's 4. So 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, what I'm going to do is 4 + 1. And then I use the Anubis Staff to recharge the card. And boom. So I get the Corrosive Dagger. Resetting my hand, I get 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, just checking to see if I ran out of cards, but I didn't. So that was a pretty challenging adventure right there. I mean, I was able to get through that Location deck just on the wire. I kind of like my rule that says, hey, you got to close the locations. So that's how you move forward and advance. So I did so. Alright, let's go ahead and take a quick look at the deck here. So what we're going to do, I want to change this camera angle. Okay, so now what we'll do is we have Let's take a quick look at Ahmotep's deck here. So the reward for this scenario, Adventure Path 2, is a skill feat. So let's go ahead and take care of that right away. So, I'll zoom back in there for that. Okay. So I get a skill feat here. So Ahmotep is pretty powerful when it comes to strength in melee. She's got a dexterity +1. I gave her charisma +1. This time we're going to go ahead and do the wisdom +1. Because this is, yep, we're on the skill feats. So giving her wisdom +1 right there. Also the reward is the auction house. So let me go ahead and find, so we can go visit the auction house if we want. So that's pretty cool. But looking at Ahmotep's deck here really quick, let's see what she's gained here. So this is Ahmotep's deck. We don't want to really go to the auction house because we have the Black Kiss. We also have Idori, and as you can see here, she only gets 2 allies. So what we're going to do is we're going to put that away, not visit the auction house. We're going to just assemble our deck here really quick, see what kind of loot we gained. Let me go ahead and zoom back out here. Oops, technical difficulties. There we go. Alright, let's get this blowgun. Let's see what we got. It's pretty crazy that Ahmotep has all of these staffs. Okay, so she could trade a... so we're on it. See the problem now, what's new and what's cool about going to level 2 is that right now we can only trade, the trader is only going to accept things that are level 1. So here, see, I have a level 1. So I need another level 1 item in order to even go to a trader in the first place. And all these things are like ABC. Let me check that. Okay, so we have an Anubis staff, which is level 1. So right now, we have the allies, Idori and Black Kiss. Any spell or blessings here? Okay, so what's cool about being on level 2 is the only items that the merchant is going to be interested in, because if we trade the merchant something lower, they're thinking we're ripping them off and they're not going to have anything to do with that. So I have the shield cloak. Oh yeah, I also got the scarab buckler. So I have a shield cloak which is ready to trade. And then I just have, the only other thing I have is the Anubis staff. So I would like to get a spell, but then what I would have to do is I would have to lose one of these items. I'd be down an item. I guess, well, just for fun, we will go ahead and we're going to visit good old Hayden Hoppert. But what's really cool now is that he's only offering spells to us that are worth, or yeah, that are level 1 or 2 spells. So randomly determining what kind of spells he's offering. We go down 8 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, let's see what he's got. So that's a B. That's a C. C. Okay, so he's offering this 1. Okay, so Hayden Hoppert is now offering these 2 spells. So the Stone Skin or the Heat Metal, because that's a level 1 and that's a level 2. So I could go ahead and get the Heat Metal spell. Discard this card to add 1d4 in the fire trait to a combat check. Or discard this card to add 2 dice on each check by a character at your location to defeat a barrier. Okay, that's pretty cool. I mean, I might go for this because I'm always doing combat with the staves. So I might get Heat Metal. Of course, it's not very thematic with Ahmotep and all of her staves. So I'll think about it. Alright, I'll let you know what my decision is for the next adventure. Or I should say scenario. Alright, well, thank you so much for watching. And I'll have a new scenario soon. Alright, bye.